Starting with the roll call, Dr. Cordolino? Here. Mr. Daughtry?
Here.
Mrs. Fano?
Here.
Mr. Grau?
Here.
Dr. Modrak? Mr. O'Brien?
Here.
Mr. Palma?
Here.
Mr. Rappaport?
Here.
Ms. Zuckerman? The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provision of the Act, the Montville Township Board of Education provided a notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location, and it was posted at the Montville Township Municipal Building, all Montville Public Schools, the Montville Public Library, Montville Township Board of Education Administrative Office Building, the district website, and advertised in the Daily Record, the board's official newspaper, on June 23rd, 2020. May we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to present the results of the election that was held in November of 21. Karen Cordolino received 3,569 votes. Charles Grau received 3,160 votes. And David Modrak received 3,088 votes. At this time, I'd like to swear in our new board members, starting with Dr. Cordolino.
I'm trying to get out of the picture, right? I, Karen Cordolino, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people, so help me God. I, Karen Cordolino, do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of a Board of Education, and not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability, so help me God. Charlie, come on up. Can you sign right here? Yep.
I, Charles Grau, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the government established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people, so help me God. I, Charles Grau, do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of the Board of Education and not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1. And I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Thank
As David Modrak was unable to attend this meeting, we will swear him in at the next meeting. I now would like to seek nominations for the position of board president for the 22 calendar year.
Madam Chairperson, May I make a nomination? I would like, and is my honor, to nominate Charles Grau for President of the Board of Education for the coming year.
Are there any other nominations? May I have a motion to close nominations?
Motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
For the nomination of Charles Grau as president, I'm going to go through a roll call. Dr. Cordolino?
Yes.
Mr. Daughtry?
Yes.
Mrs. Fano?
Yes.
Mr. Grau?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Aye.
Mr. Palma?
Yes.
Mr. Rappaport?
Yes.
The motion carries.
First of all, I'd like to thank my colleagues for their vote of confidence for the upcoming school year. It's a very busy year we have coming forward. Meetings on demographics, interview process for superintendent effective July 1, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more that comes along in this second or third year as we enter the pandemic. I also would like to indicate to each of you that I will continue to serve in the present as I've done in the past, and I hope that I have your support as I've had in the past. Superintendent and I have a great relationship working, and I'm sure that will continue. And unfortunately, it'll only be for another 6 months, but with that in mind, I would like to thank her again and my colleagues for their support during the previous year. So we now entertain a motion for the position, nomination for the position of vice president, please.
Mr. Grau, I would like to place in nomination the name of Mr. Michael Palma.
Are there any other nominations for vice president? All right, we'll entertain a motion to close nominations, please.
So moved.
Second? For the second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
A roll call vote for Mr. Palmer as vice president, please, Kathleen?
Dr. Cordolino?
Yes.
Mr. Daughtry?
Yes.
Mrs. Fano?
Yes.
Mr. Grau?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Aye.
Mr. Rappaport?
Yes.
Mr. Palma?
Yes.
Congratulations, Mike. Looking forward to
I want to thank my fellow board members again for their support. I look forward to doing this for another year. I know we have a challenging year in front of us between the superintendent, the COVID, and everything else having to do with the school, which, by the way, looks great on the inside. And let's get to work.
Wow. Okay. The next item we usually do with the organization is to read the code of ethics. So why don't you start you, Mr. Rappaport, and then we'll go around the table. On page 2, paragraph A.
It's resolved that the Montville
Just 1 second, Mike. Before you leave, I'd like to recognize Karen, your daughter, son-in-law, granddaughter. Grandson, excuse me. I've got six granddaughters, so it's coming. And her son Alex. Thank you for coming and supporting not just your mom, but the whole board as you've done over the years. Thank you.
Resolved that the Montville Township Board of Education adopts the Code of Ethics as noted below. A, you will uphold and enforce all laws, rules, and regulations of the State Board of Education and court orders pertaining to schools. Desired changes shall be brought about only through legal and ethical procedures.
B,
You will make decisions in terms of the educational welfare of children and will seek to develop and maintain public schools that meet the individual needs of all children, regardless of their ability, race, creed, sex, or social standing.
C, you will confine your board action to policy making, planning, and appraisal, and will help to frame policies and plans only after the board has consulted those who will be affected by them.
You carry out your responsibility not to administer the schools, but together with your fellow board members to see that they are well run.
You will recognize that authority rests with the Board of Education and will make no personal promises, nor take any private action that may compromise the board.
F, you will refuse to surrender your independent judgment to special interest or partisan political groups, or to use the schools for personal gain or for the gain of friends.
Excuse me, I left my glasses in the car.
You got it? G.
Yeah, I lost my eyesight in my youth in service. Okay. You will hold confidential all matters pertaining to the schools which, if disclosed, would needlessly injure individuals or the schools. In all matters, you will provide accurate information and in concert with your fellow board members, interpret to the staff the aspirations of the community for its schools.
H, you will vote to appoint the best qualified personnel available after consideration of the recommendation of the Chief Administrative Officer.
I, you will support and protect school personnel in proper performance of their duties.
J, you will refer all complaints to the Chief Administrative Officer and will act as a complaint at public meetings only after the failure of administrative duties.
Thank you. You don't need a motion after you, Mrs. Flynn.
I did.
You do? Would someone move the code of ethics, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There's a lot of,
Mr. Grau?
yes,
Just point of order. As we have done in the past, I'd like to point out that the approval of board committees and liaisons, which is on page 3, will be tabled until the next meeting. So when the vote comes for the organizational resolutions, that would be excluded.
I was going to suggest, as we do every year, Mrs. Slump, but you beat me to it, that for the resolution at the bottom of page 3,
Correct.
for the various committees, delegates, etc., if you could please email me what your choices would be for the next school year, as you've done in the past, and then at the next board meeting, we'll make the appointments, okay? So, we have number 1, Robert's Rules, policies and regulations, board meeting schedule, interim appointments, internal appointments, approval of internal appointments for the calendar year, and approval of the external appointments. If we could have a motion on all of those items except for the one that was removed, I would appreciate that.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments on those? Roll call, Mrs. Slump?
Mr. O'Brien?
Aye.
Dr. Cordellino?
Yes.
Mr. Daughtry?
Yes.
Mrs. Fano?
Yes?
Mr. Rappaport?
Yes.
Mr. Grau?
Yes.
Mr. Palma?
Yes.
All right, the finance resolutions, we have the banking information, we have investment and wire transfers, payment of bills between meetings, facsimile signatures, approval of the petty cash accounts, along with the approval of professionals and other providers. May we have a motion on that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Roll call, Mrs. Strunk?
Dr. Cordolino?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Aye.
Mr. Daughtry?
Yes.
Mrs. Fano?
Yes.
Mr. Rappaport?
Yes.
Mr. Grau?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes.
And we have curriculum resolutions as listed on the agenda. A motion, please.
So what page are we on?
Page 6.
6. Approval of curriculum and textbooks.
I need a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Roll call, Mrs. Slum, please.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes.
Dr. Cordolino?
Yes.
Mr. Daughtry?
Yes.
Mrs. Fano?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Aye.
Mr. Rappaport?
Yes.
Mr. Grau?
Yes, that concludes the organizational part of the agenda. Superintendent's report, please.
Happy New Year to everyone. It's nice to have everyone gathered together for another reorganization meeting. I did want to make a few comments. I do see a number of the MTEA officers here this evening with regard to the district shift to providing a virtual option for students for these first 2 weeks of January. I want to apologize to the faculty, staff, supervisors, and administrators for not providing more advance notice to them and for not being able to disseminate that information earlier. While some large urban districts made decisions prior to winter break to have fully remote instruction and schools reopened in January, on December 23rd, when our winter break began, most Morris County districts like Montville had planned a full day in-person instruction opening for January 3rd. Circumstances changed significantly over the break, and the decision to provide the virtual option was based on a weekend full of reviewing information from the Department of Health, the Department of Education, consulting with my Morris County colleagues, and most importantly, conferring with the Montville Township health official. Many aspects were part of this deliberation, and a final decision was not reached until Sunday morning. Once the decision was made, I attempted to communicate the information to the school community as quickly as possible. Again, I do regret that I did not give advance notification to the MTEA, but at this point, I can't turn back the hands of time. The pandemic continues to be a great source of stress for all of us as we continue to try to navigate a seemingly endless series of challenges. I continue to appreciate all of the extra efforts that our faculty and staff have put forth to help ensure that our students receive the best education possible. We do know that in-person instruction is what is best for students, and we try to continue to provide that opportunity. I am continuing to monitor the situation and will certainly modify our plans as needed in consultation with the Montville Township Health Department. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Dr. Roper. I know this has been a crazy few days, and I'm sure they'll get crazier as we move on. And thank you for your direction and notification to the staff and to the parents in the district. I know it's well appreciated, although some people would like to make a decision like a year in advance so they can make plans, but that's not feasible. Mrs. Slump, do you have anything to report?
No report.
Excuse me?
No report.
All right, we have one item on public participation. If anyone has a question on that one item, and that was item M, curriculum, appointment of a therapy group. Any comments from the public or questions? I would entertain a motion for approval of that item, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? That would be on page 7, section M. Roll call, Mrs. Hunt.
Mr. O'Brien?
Aye.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes.
Dr. Cordolino?
Yes.
Mr. Daughtry?
Yes.
Mrs. Fano?
Yes.
Mr. Rappaport?
Yes.
Mr. Grau?
Yes. There's no need for a closed agenda tonight. Any old business by board members?
Charlie, I would just like to make a statement.
Excuse me?
I would just like to make a statement under general board comments, if you don't mind.
All right, why don't we do the next section on old business, none, right? By now, section R, General board comments and new business. Karen?
Thank you. I just wanted to thank the community for re-electing me, David, and Charlie. Thank the community for their support and continued trust and confidence. And while I'm very grateful and happy, I am a bit sad that we are so divided. Our community feels divided. I hope now that the election is over, we can take the opportunity to heal and to be kind to each other. The Board of Education is made up of you, the public, the community. We are township residents like you. We pay taxes. We shop at the same grocery stores. We eat at the same restaurants. We worship in the same houses of worship. We are neighbors. We wave to each other as we walk our dogs past each other's homes. And I hope and pray that we can return to that. Thank you.
Thank you. I also would like to echo what Karen just said. It was a crazy election with a lot of recounts and stuff, but I would hope all of us would now get together and work, because we're all here for one reason, and that would be for the children. And I think we all have the best interests of the children at heart, and I would hope that we would pursue the best interests for them, especially in these trying times. Any other comments or general board discussion, new business?
Mr. President, I would just like to echo what you said. And I think that we have a lot going for us. We have a lot going for us because we have a real diversity of opinions and viewpoints on the board, and we can work well together to represent the community in the coming year. And I, for one, am pledged to work with my fellow board members as always.
Thank you, Michael.
For a good year.
Thank you. Anyone else? Christine?
Yes, I just want to thank Dr. Ropitar and the administrators and all the staff for keeping Montville schools open for the kids, for their mental health, their academic careers. I'm just really appreciative, and it just shows the important leadership that we must have in Montville, and that we do, and hopefully with our next superintendent we will have the same. But I just wanted to thank you, Renee.
Here, here.
We're going to put that in a minute. Okay, anybody else? Okay, public participation. It's an opportunity for any member who would like to speak. Scott, welcome. Happy New Year.
Good evening. Shall I use the mic, or can you hear me okay?
Well, they might not be able to
Probably
hear.
better to use the mic.
I'll use the mic. Very good. Testing. Good evening. Scott Riotto, Roxbury resident, MTH history teacher, MTA president. Happy New Year. The last time I spoke to you was exactly 2 weeks ago tonight, immediately before winter break. I do hope that you are all able to enjoy some semblance of a downtime over that winter break. I wish you and your loved ones a very happy, healthy, and safe new year. And congratulations on the newly re-elected board members. Given the increased transmissibility of the Omicron variant, has the district considered providing increased PPE for staff? For example, perhaps in the form of N95 masks by 3M available at Amazon for 97 cents per item.
What we're doing, Scott, is that you make your comments, and then the superintendent will either answer them now or at a follow-up date, okay? Do you have anything else?
If the district has not yet considered that, I would respectfully ask that they do consider that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Scott. Anyone else?
Can you hear me? Alex Pena, Tuaco resident.
I'll make it short. I just want to wish my personal congratulations to to Dr. Modrak and to Mr. Grau, and of course to my mother. Congratulations on your election victory.
Thank you, Alan.
You startled me, I didn't expect to hear your voice.
I thought he was gonna forget to mention your name.
I was afraid you were gonna forget who I was.
You didn't get that, right? Good evening. Name, sir?
Hi, Jason Jones. Jason Jones, 20 Maple Avenue, Pinebrook. Happy New Year. Congratulations to the candidates that got reelected. When people say, hey, my vote doesn't count, I guess, this is one of those elections where, that proves that theory wrong. I hope all your family are doing well. I just had a couple of questions. So the last I checked, the Board of Health hadn't updated their numbers since at least 12/29. They said there was an issue with the state website, the database rather. So I know you said that, Dr. Rothar, that you've been in touch with the Board of Health. I just want to, when was the last time that you spoke to somebody at the Board of Health, and who was it? Because their numbers aren't updated. And I mean, do you want to answer now or?
Yeah, no.
Okay. And then I just had a couple of questions related to how cases are, close contacts and cases are related to staff and to students. So the first question would be, are the positive cases being reported to parents and staff if the positive cases are vaccinated? So that's my first question. So if people are vaccinated and they then test positive, is that notification going out to the parents and staff members? Is that counted in the number that goes out? And then are vaccinated students who are close contacts to positive cases being notified that they are close contacts? Those are my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, and good luck.
Thank you. May I know that you don't have all of that statistics with you, you can get back to Jason, or you can speak now if you're comfortable.
No, I will answer Mr. Gatto. Certainly, this is something that we will take a look at and discuss in terms of PPE. I do know, despite the fact that Amazon, has things posted for sale, I do know that there are still supply chain issues with many of those types of items that are associated with the pandemic. So, but that is certainly something we can take a look at. The Board of Health, the person that I speak directly to is Michael Hodges. He is the Montville Township Health Officer. He is currently a part-time employee of the township because the township currently does not have a full-fledged health officer. He's kind of working with the township on a part-time basis. So I spoke to him today. I communicated with him today. So we are in pretty frequent communication. In terms of their updating the information on their website, yesterday was a holiday for them. I do believe that there's, as their website indicates, there have been, and I think there continue to be, some issues with them accessing data from the Department of Health. So I'm not sure, we didn't speak specifically about that today. I'm not sure when we might expect them to be able to provide the kind of daily updates that they were providing. But that's where that is at the moment. Positive cases are reported as positive cases, whether that person is vaccinated or not vaccinated. I mean, we do know that the quote-unquote breakthrough cases are fairly common. That was the case with Delta and is the case with Omicron. So any
person that is reporting to us that they have been identified as a COVID positive case, we are reporting those cases. The same is true with regard to notification of close contacts. That obviously the difference is that a vaccinated individual, if they are a close contact, is not required to quarantine. However, the guidelines certainly indicate that it's important that they know that they were exposed so that they can self-monitor, or in the case of a child, the parents can monitor for symptoms and, take them for testing if necessary. So yes, those notifications are going on.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you. Any other comments? I would also like to thank everyone for coming tonight. The next meeting is on January 18th. It will be here, hopefully. We will be meeting here for the next several months rather than going back and forth to the town hall. And I would now entertain a motion to adjourn if there's nothing else.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn by Mike, seconded by Karen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Be safe.